Lisa, is Myla coming, right?
Yes, she's coming. I'll write her a message maybe. And yeah.
Let's wait for Myla, just because today's session will be recorded. First of all, to make sure that it is transferable and usable also for other cultural operators in the futures, we will transform it into nice and user-friendly digital pills and webinars that will be available online. And in this sense, I would like to wait for Myla, who is going to record the event, and probably also make sure that she gives the welcoming speech for on behalf of the coordinator, la Fondazione Gentile Abruzzo, even if I see that they are there.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
We're here.
Eccole!
Hello.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I don't know if we need to wait a couple of minutes for the others to join.
Let's do the following. Let's first of all, you're welcome to everybody. Then I will go through a short tour de table so that we know that we are all here, and also who we are, basically, so that I make sure that the training is relevant for everybody. So go ahead, Myla, and
Okay, thank you all for being here. And I don't know if you already know, but I'll start the recording of this session shortly. And now I will give the floor to Letizia Lizza, who is our director, museum director, and she will greet you all. I'll start the recording. Okay.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first Train the Trainer session of the DIGIMUSE ENTER project. I am Letizia Lizza. I am the director of the Gentile Abruzzo Foundation. That is a cultural institution that manages two very important museums in the city of Pescara in Italy. The first museum is called the Gentile Abruzzo Museum, and it is an anthropological museum that traces the history of our region, the Abruzzo, from the old prehistoric time until the Industrial Revolution. And the second museum is called the Basilio Cascella Museum, and it is an art gallery that displays around 600 artworks of this very important family of artists. And the Gentile Abruzzo Foundation is also the coordinator of this Erasmus Plus project. And it is a real pleasure for me to open today's session and to see such a strong and committed group of partners and participants gathered here. And first of all, I would like to thank all of our partners and each of you for being here. And your engagement is what gives real value to our projects and allow us to move from ideas to meaningful impact. And I'm truly pleased to witness the first concrete outcomes for our collaboration. And reaching this stage, we begin concretely to share knowledge, tools, and practice. And it is a very milestone and a testament to our collective efforts. And today's training is developed by our partner, Spanish partner, Internet Web Solutions, and Roberta. And it will focus on two main topics. The first is AI for an inclusive and accessible culture offer. And the second is digital skills for inclusion. And these topics lie at the very heart of our project, DIGIMUSE ENTER, and are a pivotal element for fostering a more inclusive, accessible, and forward-looking cultural sector. And thank you once again for our presence and contribution, and I wish you all a productive and inspiring session. So I'd like to give the floor to Roberta.
Thank you so much, Letizia. Thank you for hosting. Thank you also for managing this project, which is going smoothly and with very nice results. So let me ask you to also present your institution. So you can either talk, each one of you, or one representatives. Just let me know who you are, from which country, and if you can also give me an idea of how would you ratify your digital presence as an organization, and what are your daily needs and expectation for this training, so that I know that I can manage the information to make sure it is relevant for each of you. So Croatia, maybe.
Hello, everybody. We are from Croatia, Museum of Cetinska Krajina region in Dalmatia. And here today we are, me and my colleague, Anita, Ante, and Daniela. Today Daria, our colleague who knows what is about, he couldn't be here today, so we came to listen to you and to know what will be new in we can learn with you. That's all for us.
Hopefully we will help you. Let's see. From Cyprus then.
Hello everybody, I'm Dimitra. I'm here representing Steni Community Council. We have a Museum of Rural Life. It's a small museum in a small community in Cyprus. And we have a lot of need to digitalize everything, as well as register what we have and have a better online presence. We've been following some workshops and some trainings, and this one we hope that it will help us advance. Here we have also Michalis and Leonidas from the team, and we are expecting another member a bit later, maybe in 5 minutes. So we are all here from different screens though. Okay, nice to see you, everybody.
Thank you so much for being here, and actually thank you all for being here. From Iceland, who do we have?
My name is Árni Pétur. We are in the north of Iceland. And we are running 7 different museums, basically.
Wow.
So we have a maritime museum, we have a Volksmuseum, we have an art museum, we have archives, we have an old turf house. So it's a pretty big area that we are working with. There is over 200 kilometers apart from all the museums, from the ones that are the most furthest away. We think this is an exciting opportunity for us to learn and to advance, because even though we have a lot of different museums, we don't have a lot of staff. There are 4 of us working here full time. It is Dagny that you can see there, and Snorri Guðjón, and then Nicola, our coordinator in this project. What we have been trying to do is we've been trying to modernize a lot of things. We have a website that enables us to web museums or hold galleries, so we can show both of the artworks and documents from the archives exhibitions inside inside our webpage. And then we have been for the last few years doing audio guides for already 3 of our exhibitions. So and we are going to try to keep up on that, and we are excited to learn about new exciting ideas and hope to benefit from this good group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arnie, and hopefully, yes, there is content. You are advanced anyway, but hopefully there will be some tips also for you and to keep on modernizing. And then I have a question for you, but in the second stage, which is how are you advertising or moving all the digital material that you already have? This is a question for later on, so you can think on, because what we want in this section is not only, of course, modernize ourselves, but also make sure that we make the most of this modernization and of the digital range of public that we can really achieve. So the idea, I don't know if you are familiar with the Michelin guide, that of restaurants. Well, it was born from Michelin, the wheels inventors, and they started by inventing these wheels, but nobody used the cars, so the wheel did not wear out, and so they didn't sell many wheels. So what they invented was this culinary gastronomy Michelin guide to make sure that people would actually travel to around the world to use wheels, and they could keep on improving their sales. So what we want here with the digital tools is exactly the same. What we really want is to get to people and tell them, come and see my institutions, come and increase my sales or visibility, if you wish. So the idea is that we do not stop only into modernizing, but to really make the most of digital presence. Netherlands, do we have somebody?
Yeah, we're over here. Hi everyone. We're from Netherlands, from the Schoenenkwartier, the Shoe Quarter, which is a shoe and leather museum in the Waalwijk. We are here with Rinska, our president, what do you call it? And we have Marlene, she's office manager and personal assistant, and I'm the communication marketing person. So what we do a lot with digitalization is that we of course have a website, we're on social media, we have a lot of digital screens that we use in the museum, so we're trying different things out to up the interactivity in the museum. And we're hoping with collaboration and joining the DIGIMUSE that we can even advance that more. So we're very glad to be here, we're very curious.
Yes, exactly. Let's hope that we at least give you some inspiring ideas to renew your already wide digital presence. So do we want somebody else from Fondazione, or are we happy with the presentation so far?
Well, joining us today are Antonella Giancaterino, she's our project manager, and Ermanno De Pompeis is our museum curator. And then we have Elisa Mossa, which is our librarian.
Wonderful. Thank you all for coming. Thank you also, Lisa, that you can present yourself if you want. She's from EPIC. And she will also be here as a listener for the future the trainer session, maybe, right, Lisa?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Roberta, as you all know, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Internet Web Solution. I'm particularly grateful for being here today because I really love this project, and I've loved also creating and developing the training, because I think it's very easy to use and at least inspiring, or gives you some good hint to work on yourself. Since I don't like one-to-one training where what I speak and you you just stay there, I would encourage you to make it the more interactive as possible, giving your best practices, giving your point of view for each and every solutions that we're going to present. And also there are some exercises during these project that are not meant to put you in difficulties, but rather are self-reflection, so that we can come up with new ideas, a new way of thinking, new way of presenting the information or the cultural dimension that we are already working with. So the idea is modernize through digital technology. So without further ado, if it's okay for you, I will start sharing the first PowerPoint on the digital skills for inclusion. And as I said, please stop me or interrupt me or just tell me whatever comes to your mind, because your doubt will be also food for thought for other in this session, but also, as we said, for the audience and public who will see this webinar in the future. So let's go. Coming up. Can you see it?
Yes.
Thank you so much. And now, yes, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So this training has different learning outcome. First of all, in this training in particular, we will understand the role of digital storytelling platforms, recognize some principles for inclusive language and bias awareness in heritage narratives. I know that you are more than aware of it, but it is always worthy to go back and make references to these biases, because sometimes they are so accepted that you don't even pay attention to them. We will also identify immersive tools, and we will also present you some gamification tools for the grammetry. As Arnie was saying, that they already have the gallery available, so maybe their next step could be precisely go through photogrammetry, augmented reality, virtual reality, or 3D modeling, and how you can apply it in your museums with the lowest budget possible, basically. Then we will also discover some more open digital tools like Omeka, Wikimedia, or Europeana, and we will be presenting some strategies for promotion, engagement, and monetization of digital environment in small museums. As for the skills that we will foster, of course, the use of digital tools to create inclusive content. We will also apply basic design and storytelling techniques, plan and test simple gamified activities, because one important thing in all these modernization or access to the digital environment is that we have to really make sure that we can measure its impact. So it's pointless to lose time to do gamification if then you don't really know who is using it, why they are using it, and what's their reaction to it. We will also experiment with some 3D photogrammetry tools, and of course implement QR code mobile guides. Again, Arnie, they are advanced, so probably they can even share their own best practices. I will talk about some easy and free tools that can be used as to create these audio resources on your own, and how to organize a small digital archive or repository with clear metadata and open formats. Also, another thing that you also have to keep in mind while modernizing your your institution is always to record the process, document it, and make sure that it is well organized, because people and staff change within one museum and one institution. But if you have a clear organizational protocol, then the next one will be easily catch up from the point that it is left for them. As far as the attitudes, we will foster inclusivity and diversity in cultural storytelling, adopt an experimental and creativity mindset toward new digital tools, maintain a critical approach to technology, prioritizing accessibility, ethics, and sustainability. Within this course, of course, we don't want you to be master high-tech of the universe. We just want you to make sure that you know that technology is your friend, and it can really give you a big advance and big help in your daily work. We want you also to embrace collaboration and networking with other small museums, schools, or communities, and see some digital skills not as add-on, but as core part of the museum mission to reach everyone. We will go through 3 main units: inclusive storytelling and immersive culture through gamification, 3D, and interactive experiences. And we will also try to analyze and measure the digital impact through open digital tools. So, as you all know, you are vital cultural spaces in Europe, and you face the challenge normally of reaching diverse audiences in these digital worlds. The idea is to provide with this project practical digital skills for inclusion, even with limited resources, even with low-cost tools, so that you can really engage everyone. So let's start. For digital storytelling, there are different tools that you can use. As you know, storytelling remains one of the most powerful tools for a museum, and digital platforms today allow your stories to travel far beyond your museum walls and to actually access the social media networks. As the Netherlands, the Dutch partners were saying, they have a great presence in the social media, but in the social media, you also need a story to relate on. So some example of useful platform that you can use are, of course, WordPress and Wix, if you want to create one sectorial exhibition or one sectorial storytelling piece. You can also use Canva or Adobe Express to create visual stories or infographics. You can use Night Lab tools like StoryMap or Timeline.js, which are free-friend platform for interactive timelines and maps. Here you also find a small tutorial on YouTube on how to use Timeline and StoryMap for walking through your narrative-driven stories. And of course, once you have the storytelling ready, you have to make sure that you publish them not only on your own channels on social media, but also on appropriate video channels like YouTube, Vimeo, and TikTok. It is very important to make sure that when you publish those pieces of information, you accompany them with related metadata. What are metadata? Your organization information, your link to your website. It's fundamental. Otherwise, it is pointless to do any digital presence action. Then a very complete description. Sometimes it can even be adapted to a specific target if you are searching for a specific public for a determined exhibition. And you can actually choose a different platform, but you have to make sure that you choose a platform that your staff can maintain easily. For example, a small ethnographic museum can use a StoryMap.js to tell the journey of their traditional textiles from farm to festival, or you name it, basically. Let me stop 1 second to share, just because I don't see your face and I want to see if you are still with me. And this is a, are you familiar with this kind of tools? Yes, and do you use it every day in, for example, the story map? No. So give it a try, because they are very, very, very interesting and easy to use, and they make a difference in terms of presentation. Also, one important thing is also the fact that you should really put all the attention to make sure that your corporate image is well protected and well presented. So if you want to, if you are creating a video for storytelling or for ancient experience, you really want to make sure that the light is appropriate, the image is of quality, and the result is of high level, because otherwise you are mining your online reputation other than increasing your visibility. Let's go on. There you go. When we talk about digital inclusion, we have to take into consideration the use of inclusive language and bias awareness when we produce any storytelling piece. So our general recommendation is to make sure that we use digital inclusion when we write, we speak, and always remember to use clear and simple English or native language, local language for international and diverse audiences. Try to avoid jargon and academic phrasing, make the heritage approachable. Be aware of bias, as for example, if you use AI generated text or even museum archives, sometimes they may reflect historical or stereotypes. So always review the content for gender neutrality, ethnic diversity, and make sure that the tone is respectful. For example, instead of talking about primitive tools, write about early tools used in local communities. Again, we will also have a look at accompanying checklist that we have developed for this training, but in general, for example, try to avoid neutral words, respect community self-indications, make sure that your texts are accessible, written in short sentences, in active voice, so that they are more engaging. Also, you can use the digital storytelling to talk to marginalized groups. So you can make each of your identity and each of your institution more target and tailored to a specific marginalized group, like migrants, LGBT plus, ethnic minority, or people with disabilities. How do we deal with that? For example, we can create some mobile recorders or free audio apps to capture migrant stories, or we can ensure community curation, invite LGBT plus community or minority groups to co-create digital exhibits with your small museums, so that they feel represented also under your cultural space. Or you can also represent in visual, use stock photos or image that reflect diverse identities. This is also a general recommendation. Make sure you pay attention that the imagery you are using is inclusive. Sometimes we don't even notice or we are not even aware of how far an image can go. But try to pay attention if your images are gender balanced, for example, or they tell the story as you wish to tell the story. So, for example, a small museum in Andalusia can work with local Moroccan communities to create bilingual videos, testimonies about migration stories, and then upload them to YouTube and link them via QR code inside the museums. I don't know if you have created any project of this kind in your own institutions. Have you? Okay, I don't see.
Well,
yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Armin.
yeah, we have been trying to, because there's like a book we publish every year. So we are trying to make a podcast. It has been published here. It's about the community here up north, and it has been published for almost 70 years. So we are selecting stories from that, and we are making podcasts out of them to try to, because our subscription base is dying, so we are trying to put new fire into it.
Wonderful. And also this podcast, you can sell them or move them also in Pinterest, in Instagram, in TikTok. How? Just adding some kind of eye-based, for example, small video or a real video from your own exhibitions, so that you make sure that you are addressing different channels and different audience. So what we will see today is, you're saying, some kind of brainstorming ideas of what you can do to increase your digital presence, but also to potentiate your communication, dissemination, and visibility of institution. Thank you so much. For graphic design, we have already seen Canva with free version, where there are a lot of template, poster, flyers for social media. Important, these are free material, but make sure that they are all in line and you always reflect the mission and vision and values of your institution. So make sure that your logo is well represented. Even the font is readable and is in line with the corporate image that you want to reflect with your own institution. Then other tools that you can use, which are open source as well, are Gimpo or Krita, which are more advanced, but still these are free design tools. In general, in terms of graphic content creation, you should always, as I said, use clear font and high contrast for readability. For example, it is very important to try to avoid pale colors on white in electronic environment, just because they don't see that much. Also, the website, it is a nice best practice to make sure that you also offer accessibility features like increasing font or changing the contrast for readability. So make sure that also on the digital level, you are inclusive and you are accessible and you pay attention to the inclusion of your audience. Try to avoid overcluttered designs, add captions to all the images. You know that images are now getting positioned also on Google. And how do they do that? precisely using the correct metadata. So make sure that whenever an image is uploaded in your website, in your social media, in whatever channel that digital channel you're using, you always add your institutional data, your URL website, and a nice description of the image, so that even illiterate or blind people can actually make the most of those images. And also always include alternative text description for web use, so that the software that reads through the websites for visually impaired people can actually describe to them your exhibition. For the social media promotion, of course, you all know that you should use different channels according to the different type of public you want to enroll. And in this case, I will present something, but then I would like you to intervene and tell me what kind of social networks you're using and why. Normally, we use Facebook for community events and to engage older audiences. Instagram and TikTok for visual storytelling and youth engagement, whereas Twitter or X actually and LinkedIn can be used for networking and professional visibility. In these, when you use these social media actions, make sure that you add captions to video for hearing impaired user. Make sure that you translate the post in 2 or 3 relevant languages, that you highlight different voices and stories, not to let only one group speak for you. And monitoring the engagement to ensure that marginalized groups are also interacting. In social media is extremely easy to do, so make sure that you really pay attention to the follow-up and the monitoring of your campaigns. And I know it's only you, and normally the problem with the small museum is that also the staff is small, so you cannot, it's difficult to get to everything. But we will see also in the next training that there are a lot of AI-based, artificial intelligence-based tools that can help you actually foresee the trend in usage and engagement, so that you can use them and make sure that your campaigns are tailored to your actual necessity. So, for example, the Dutch partners were using a lot of social media. What channels do you use, Marlene?
We are on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
With what frequency do you publish? Do you post?
It depends a bit on the week, but I think at least on LinkedIn about once a week, on Instagram maybe 2 times a week, Facebook also 1 to 2 times a week, TikTok once a week, and YouTube is a bit more sporadical.
Wonderful. And what about do you use software to help you with the common publication like HubSpot or something like that to just do one post which serves all the channels, or do you actually put different posts for each channel?
I try to do different posts. We have workshops which we can publish on multiple channels, but then we also I also edit the text to be more towards the people or towards the group of people that we have on that platform. For example, Facebook is more local, older people, as you said, and Instagram is more creative people, more makers. We have more makers on there, more artists. So I try to make the content so that it speaks to the people who are following us on the platforms.
Wonderful.
And then we use Metrical to plan.
Okay, to monitor the. Wonderful, wonderful. And do you think it really increases your final profit or not? It's just part. Yeah, because the bottom line is that you have to sell your institution. So my question is, are those campaigns just part of I have to be here, or are they tailored to actually make sure that more people come to your institution and buy a ticket and visit your exhibition?
Yes, some are very focused on planning a visit. We have this in this as a program, but some are also towards like growing a community and also informing of what we do on like a business level for LinkedIn, for example. A lot of our partners are also on there, so it's also a way to keep them to give them knowledge about what we're doing and projects that we are involved in.
Actually, the golden rule is one publication out of 7 can be for profit, basically, whereas the other 6 need to actually engage the community to make sure that you don't stress your audience, basically, and that you're still looked at it with interest. So well done, and thank you for sharing. I'm asking this information from each of you because we have the great opportunity of being all together, sharing one project, and we all do nice things in our own country. So I think it's worthy for everybody also to get to know what other people do. So let's go ahead. There we go. I will skip the exercises for now because probably we will not have time then to go through the entire contents. But there are very nice exercises that you can do on your own within your stuff to make sure that you reflect a bit about your own situation and how you can improve and use digital knowledge to make your institution more digitally modern and digitally present. Also, there is at the end of each unit, there is a small checklist to make sure that you are using inclusive storytelling in this case, but that you use the concept that we've gone through in a way that is easy for you to make sure that everything is under control. For gamification, there are different gamification possibilities, and as you know, gamification makes heritage more engaging by using points, badges, challenges, storytelling, missions, and so on and so forth. I will share with you some ideas or some applications that you can use, but of course, here again, if you have others, just tell us so that we can also add it to this training. So some softwares are digital scavenger apps, hunts via apps like Actionbound or Goose Chase. Then you have the possibility of creating online quizzes linked to exhibition using JotForm Quiz or Kahoot. Or you can create a nice reward system, which works very nicely, especially for children who complete the digital tours. And in this sense, I will share my experience when I was to Toledo. When I went to Toledo, actually there was the possibility of downloading the Cavalier of Toledo, and for small kids, and it was very nice. It was an app for visiting Toledo, but every time you got to a specific monument, you got my kid gained a badge, so he was even more motivated to go ahead and complete the visits. So this kind of system is very easy to create also on for example, virtual tour of your own museum, and it is a nice experience also to be shared on digital social channels or digital media. You can also some social media gamification strategies, like find this object in our gallery with the Instagram challenges, or you can use polls, riddles, or trivia competition on Facebook. Of course, gamification works best when it's simple, fun, and linked to learning. And whenever you create some kind of gamification action, make sure that you test privately with the real target and see how they react. In this sense, it is very useful to ask for help to schools or local associations, because they do it for fun, but then you have the great opportunity to see the reaction of kids at your action. Again, something that is boring, it's not useful, and it doesn't give you good reputation. So make sure that if you do something, that make sure that it is nice and fun and simple to do. Earning information. Another solution that you can use for immersive culture is the use of photogrammetry or the drone use. Photogrammetry is much more easy to implement than, of course, drone. Here we will talk about different softwares. There are thousands of them. And my advice in general is always try to play with one, see if it is of your help or if it is comfortable for you. If not, disinstall and go for another one. Don't try to install 3 or 4 at a time, just because you get crazy and finally you don't really know what you're doing. Some open source photogrammetry tools are Mushroom, AgileSoft Metashape, which is professional but has a free trial. And then, of course, there are some drone apps like DJI or Pix for the capture for aerial mapping of heritage sites, but those, of course, need the drone. For photogrammetry, I'm leaving here also a nice tutorial that gives you an idea on how to start with for the digital object reproduction. For example, a rural museum can use a simple drone to capture the exterior of an archaeological site, creating then a 3D model that can be accessible for school children. Other virtual tours can be other platform for virtual tours that can be used are Google Arts and Culture, which is open for a selected museum, Art Steps and Matterport, which are 2 software for design 3D walk-through exhibition. I've used Art Steps and it is very, very, very nice. Easy to use, effective, and not only, it can even be used for actually for making profit if you have the possibility. For example, it's like a 3D virtual museum where you can personalize it with photo, pictures, stories and everything. But the good part is that you can also link photos or rooms to one particular part of your website. So you can even create a small shop of souvenirs or link it to Etsy if something is sold via Etsy. Sorry. And you can link one specific exhibition or one specific room to a current exhibition that you have that is not all year long available, so that you increase the visits to this exhibition. Other 2 tools for panoramic tools are RoundMe and Kula. Both are very easy to use and interesting. The difference between augmented reality and virtual reality is basically the fact that in augmented reality you add some extra information to the virtual visit, basically, but it is real. It is made with real recording. Whereas the virtual reality, it is a fully immersive experience, and normally headsets are required. Virtual reality, of course, has higher costs than augmented reality. My suggestion is normally to start small with a 3600 photo of your museum uploaded on a free-to platform before moving to virtual reality headsets because of the costs that it implies. For 3D models, which allows the small museum to share replicas of fragile objects, some tools that can be used are Blender, which is a powerful open source 3D modeling and rendering, and you have also the tutorial here, and Sketchfab, which is a platform for publishing and sharing 3D objects online. When normally for the workflow to get a 3D modeling, you should photograph the object using photogrammetry or design it in Blender from zero. Edit, clean, and render, and then you will upload it on Sketchfab to make sure that your modeling is accessible, or you can embed it on your website. Again, once you have done it, make sure that you publish a newsletter, a press release, or a post on the fact that you have just uploaded this new rendering on your website or is available for the public. Possible application, for example, schools can virtually handle a Roman coin online instead of the fragile original, and they can use your website and your exhibitions directly in their class without even the need of going and see it on live. On the other hand, of course, this will sparkle their curiosity. So if this museum has a Roman coin, they probably want to go to your museum and see the entire treasure that you have. Here are some gamification ideas. Again, I invite you to go ahead and try to do it with your teams, because they are easy to do and they can represent novelties for your institutions. You can experiment with the 3D plans, and you can sketch the virtual tools of your organization. Here is the checklist for the immersive experience to guide you in its application. Before going on, let me ask you if any of you has used those softwares, or do you have gamification applied in your own exhibitions or institutions? Yes, Demetra.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I mean, here we are a very small museum in a small community, so we are very basic in what we do. But we will definitely try to improve, and this is a very helpful way. So thank you very much for this. I'm not sure that we can apply everything, because we are in a small community and we are based, basically we have a lot of interactions from Facebook. We have all the residents and people around, but it would be a good chance to try and reach younger audiences as well, I believe.
Exactly. We will have also other strategies. I think it's in the other training. And again, I'm not sure we can really manage the second training in this session. But it's all these strategies are very easy to do and very, very rewarding in terms of digital presence later on.
Yeah, but we can try, and then in the second training we can see what we have questions and how we can improve.
That would be great. Okay, So let's go on with open digital tools that you can use for heritage sharing. You have OPECA, which is the open source platform for digital collection. You have Wikimedia Commons, which I'm sure you all know, which share heritage images globally under open licenses. Important, always add metadata, description, creator, date, location, your name as an institution and your website, so that resources are well categorized, but most importantly, each and every user can trace back and get to your institution to see it. You also have the Europeana, which is the EU platform for cultural heritage aggregation. And okay. For digital impact, for online promotion and engagement strategies of this digital solution, you can create a calendar for consistent posting, mix formats, as I was saying. Don't limit yourself. I'm doing a post, then I will share only a post. Make sure that for that post you create a story, a video, a graphic that you can also share in all the other social media platforms, so that you really make the most of this one action that you've done. As you know, use hashtags like Inclusive Heritage or Museum for All, so that you also refer to bigger umbrella projects. Collaborate with schools, association, and influencer for greater reach. For example, a small museum, and Dimitra, I think could be your case. You can partner with local high school to co-manage a TikTok account. So this will automatically lead a rise in youth visits and make sure that the cultural institution becomes more modern, more accessible, more young. For other tools for digital impact are, of course, the QR code. For example, in Soria, we went to a nice archaeological site, and at the beginning of the site there was this QR code application where you started you just scanned with your smartphone, and automatically the application would tell you the story of the entire archaeological site, with also reconstruction, also exchange with different historical characters. And it was very nice. In this case, it was gratis because it was paid by the city hall. But think about it, maybe a small fee could be perfectly associated to this audio guide, so that it really increases the user experience. Arnie has already done that. You can also create free mobile guides using apps like Go or Easy Travel to let visit country where you come from. Make sure that the those audio guide translation is also good. And also always before launching it, because there's nothing more stressful than visitor experience, to make sure that you really use a digital marketplace and monetization options